So report writing, either we write a report for the newspaper or for the school magazine. Style or the format is the same in both of the cases, with a slight variation when we do it for a newspaper or for the school magazine. So let's first discuss like which point, what are the formats for writing the report for newspaper. First only the format, then later on I'll be giving you the value points for writing the report. So the format wise, first of all on the top, the title is written. Title of the report. When you write the title of the report, then what must be kept in mind? Number one, it should be bold, capital. It should be in bold and capital letters. Main thing. It can be underlined. Then the next thing which you must keep in mind while writing the title of a report is, like, it should cover up the institution. It should cover up the name of the institute or organization or department or club. Institute, club, department, etc. The name of institute or club and department plus the event in brief. So cover up, the title should be about the name of the institute plus the event in nutshell. For example, we are going to write a report on Children's Day celebrations in the school. Okay, suppose the ABC public school. Children, I'm just giving you example like what kind of title should be written. When we write a title of the report, then we must write the title about the institute or the place where the event happened, and the event and the things should be written in very brief in the title so that the readers comes to know about the overall event from the title. Got it? So, for example, you talk about Children's Day celebrations in ABC public school. This ABC public school. In this school, Children's Day was celebrated. So this is the question for you, that you are to write a report on the Children's Day celebrations in ABC public school. Now, what title will you write for this? Yes, what title will you write for this? Lakshya, Sani will tell us. Lakshya, yes, come on. You can answer anything. The point is not that you will be speaking something wrong or what. Please give answer. Yes, Manvya, give the answer.
Children's Day celebration.
Okay, so you are saying the title will be Children's Day celebrations, right? But what is wrong about it? That we did not come to know like where was it celebrated. So whenever we write a report, whenever we send a report in the newspaper, then the purpose is somewhere publicity use. Who will come to know from the title like where was it celebrated? So the name of the institute should also go in the title. So the better title will be ABC PS. You can use the abbreviations to denote the name of the school. ABC PS. ABC Public School celebrates Children's Day. That is the title. You might feel like it has become a little, longer, but doesn't matter. Or you can say Children's Day celebrated at ABCPS. But better is name of the institute first, then you talk about the event. So title should be written in bold capital letters. It could be underlined also. And the biggest main thing about writing title is the name of the institute or the department or the club should be with the event. Is that clear? So next thing, will come after title. We write after the title we write byline. By. So by we call it byline. So byline means who is writing this report? That person's name will come here. So who writes a report? Reporter. So reporter's name will come here. If you're writing for the newspaper, it can be, for example, TNS, Tribune, News Service, TNS, or it can be news correspondent. Or you can also write the name as well as a news correspondent. Rinika, news correspondent. Title, after title, the byline will be there, and byline is just the name of the writer or the reporter of the newspaper, of the news. Title, then byline. So format wise, first of all the title comes, then we write the byline. Some people write the byline to the right side, some people write it in the center, your wish. But wherever you write, make it sure that you write it. Some people also write the byline in the end, but preferably try to write byline after the title in case of report. And even in case of article also, we write the byline after the title. So after this, when we are writing a report, we write the place and date. Place will be the city, okay? On the top we wrote ABC PS celebrates Children's Day. So the name of the school has come here. Now the point is, where is the school? Maybe it is in Ludhiana, maybe it is in Jabalpur. So write the name of the city where it is being held. So here place will be the city or the village, whatever the place exacted. Wherever this institute is, write that place here, and date whenever this happened. If the Children's Day was celebrated on 14th November, then write 14th November here. The newspaper will be of 15th November. So the news of 14th November will be published in the newspaper of 15th November, mind it. So you don't need to get much confused. You can write the date on which your exam is being conducted, or the date when you are writing the date. Okay, same date. Because a reporter writes a date there and then. Reporter writes a date there and then. Okay, he doesn't wait for the next day to write the date. The place where the reporter goes, from there itself, the report is covered. Maybe the report is published, or maybe the report is aired on TV channels and all later on, but there and then he covers it up. So reporter happens to be the first-hand witness to the event. It's not that the reporter covers the incident from other sources. First of all, he happens to be there. He or she happens to be at that place. Okay, and from that place, he can ask the people, he can gather information on the event, but basically he also happens to be there. Okay, place and date. After place and date, we would be starting the report. Body of the report would come, that I'll tell you. This content part will be, discussed in elaboration a bit later. First, let us just talk about the format. Title, byline, place and date. Then the content will start. And when the content starts, like, what are the overall, points? Number one, we write the theme sentence. The theme sentence of the report is very important because it tells what, when, where. In a way, 3 W's. First theme sentence happens to be about what, when, and where, and it is about the 3 W's. Got it? What happened? Children's Day celebrations. When? We have already written the date here. So we won't repeat the date here now. So we'll say yesterday. Where? We have also written the place. So what would you say about where? Here, which we have mentioned here. So what would be the line over here? Children's Day was celebrated yesterday. Children's Day was celebrated here yesterday. One more thing we can add, that is how. It will be the theme sentence. Children's Day was celebrated here yesterday with great fervor, with great enthusiasm. So the theme sentence is always typical in all sorts of events, pleasant events, I mean. Children's Day was celebrated, or annual day was celebrated, or the fete was organized here yesterday with great enthusiasm, with great pomp and show, with great fervor, right? So whatever, you know, theme sentence is always with the 3 W's and 1 H. After the theme sentence has been written, we would be, after the words, you know, we would be sequencing the events. Sequencing the events. Now, basically, this how only is going to be described. And how is going to be described in sequence. Now, whatever the events were held, you know, whatever the way the event was organized, we will be describing that in sequence. And when we are describing the things in a sequence, we would be using the linkers, for example, first of all. Okay, for what sequences, what linkers will be using for this? Let me take up this issue from the comfortable place of Blackboard. So I can rub this out. So when we are talking about the content part of the report, then I've told you, like, first of all, we write the theme sentence. Okay, theme sentence is about 3 W's plus 1 H, right? And afterwards, we would be mentioning, will be, you know, detailing the event, details of event in sequence. Got it? So how to give the details of the event in sequence? Of course, when the Children's Day was celebrated, some program might have been held, some stage show might have been there, or there might have been some off-screen activities or off-stage activities. Okay, so whatever those activities were there, we can give their details in sequence. Okay, sequence, you know, like what was the sequence, but even if there is some, you know, ups and downs in the sequence, that doesn't matter. The main thing is that when you are giving the details of the event, then they must not be, the details must not be the deep enough that your report becomes a story. Your report will remain a report only when you just touch the details. You don't have to go deep into the details. I'm telling you how. So first line was very clear. We are talking about the Children's Day celebrations, right? So first of all, like what it was, 3 W's. 3 W's is like Children's Day was celebrated here yesterday with great fervor. Then details, if there was some event, then we always call some chief guest also. Mr. XYZ, the chief minister, the head of the department from Sanskriti Vidya Mandir was the chief guest of the day. The principal from XYZ school was the chief guest of the day. Got it? So first of all, sequencing when we are talking about, then first of all mention the chief guest. When we, yes, most important thing while writing a report is like the names and designation matter a lot in a report. It would not be enough to just say that the principal of ABC public school was the chief guest of the day. You will need to mention the name and designation. Is that clear? Mr. XYZ, the principal of XYZ public school, was the chief guest of the day. name, designation should be there. So when we have talked about the chief guest, then of course, when the chief guest comes, he must be welcomed. So what kind of welcome was he given? Floral welcome or green welcome by tiny dots. Okay. So you can mention like he was given a floral welcome by the principal, Mr. XYZ of the school. Okay. When your own principal's name come, then that principal's name and designation should also be mentioned. Very important points. So the chief guest was given a floral welcome by the principal, Mr. XYZ. Right? So now the chief guest has been welcomed. Now the stage show will start. We can start like a lamp lighting ceremony. The event started with the celebrations contained a stage show which started with a lamp lighting ceremony. Okay, then after the lamp lighting ceremony, what would have been there? There might have been some school prayer. Okay, or there might have been some motivational song for the students or for the children because it was a Children's Day. So the then the cultural fiesta you can say, a cultural bonanza to mark the Children's Day was organized by the activity department of the school. Right? Chief guest, floral welcome, lamp lighting ceremony, cultural bonanza organized by the activity department to mark the Children's Day celebrations. Right? Principal's address. Then after, you can, yes, in your report, you can mention the items of the cultural bonanza. You can mention like a cultural bonanza was organized by the activity department of the school, which consisted of a skit, motivational song, dance, and a folk song. No need to elaborate each item in details. I'm repeating this point. A cultural bonanza was organized by the school or by the activity department or by the class in charges of 9th to 12th to mark the Children's Day celebrations. Which this cultural bonanza consisted of a skit, an English play, a folk dance, and a motivational song or an orchestra, you can say. So this cultural bonanza you've discussed. So when this cultural bonanza will be over, then the principal's address. The principal addressed the gathering and congratulated the children on the eve of Children's Day. Principal's address. The principal addressed the gathering and congratulated the children on this eve and encouraged them to work hard to do their best. So the gist of the principal's address you can mention here. Then something from the chief guest's address. So what will the chief guest say on stage? The chief guest also addressed the students and congratulated them on this Children's Eve and lauded their efforts in putting up such a great show. After this, what would happen? A vote of thanks. So, vote of thanks would be read by the principal again. The principal, Mr. XYZ, read out the vote of thanks for the chief guest. Got it? The event concluded with national anthem and was followed by an afforestation ceremony conducted by the school near the school vicinity. That's it. So after the vote of thanks, the culmination or the conclusion, and how would you conclude? Yes, how will you conclude? You will conclude by saying like how the event culminated. The event culminated with the national anthem and was followed by an afforestation ceremony held near the school or held in the vicinity of the school. That's it. So we have written the report on one event, that is children's celebrations. So basically we tried to do this for the newspaper, and tomorrow we'll try to do this for the school magazine. So for this, there a little bit of change in the format would be there. Otherwise, the things, the content wise, the things would remain same. So right now I can tell you like what would be the changes in school magazine. When you wrote the title, then title would remain same, but from their school's name you could delete. You could simply say Children's Day celebrations, because in the school magazine it is clear that the things are from the school side only. And title could also be student's name, and you could write like student Priya, magazine editor, okay, chief editor, or the name of the student and his or her class. Then afterwards place and date, and there also you can delete the place because it is obvious only date should be there, then the things would be as such. So if the things are clear, then please raise hand. If not, then tell me.